Alright, so you just went on Facebook Marketplace and you found yourself the cheapest Miata. Now you're driving around with your boys and you think you're all hot and you come up to a roundabout and you go, oh yeah, I could have a go at this. And you turn quickly and you accelerate and you hear a little skirt and you're like, oh wow. And the addiction starts and you think, maybe I could be the next Formula D champ. Well, from me to you, I'm here to show you how much it costs to build a drift Miata. Boy. In all seriousness though, we're going to be going over my dedicated drift Miata build, Mazda MX-5, and I'm going to be showing you what I did to get this car to a drift ready level, and I'm going to be breaking down the costs of what it cost me to build a car that goes sideways okay. These don't go sideways well. This one goes sideways okay, okay? So we'll pull the car into the garage and get her up, and I'll show you guys what it takes to get the car to this level. The car sounds like a V8 at the moment because I had my mid-shaft explode last drift session. All this and more is what you get to look forward to if you want to drift said Godbeck boy. All right, so you've established that you want to get into drifting and you have a Miata. Okay, now let's go over the costs involved and what you have to do to get these cars to actually steer and steer well. There is a big difference with Miatas and the Miata platform between the car doing some skids and it actually steering well. It took me a long time to figure out what benefited this chassis most, especially bang for buck wise. Okay, so this is all my opinion and with my experience with the chassis. I'm only going to be listing the things that I think are absolutely necessary for drifting your MX-5. Okay, so in no particular order and in my personal opinion, first thing we're gonna start at is suspension, okay? So the number one thing you're gonna wanna look at getting straight away is a good set of coilovers. Coilovers are the suspension that sit in here, okay? So these ones are a fully adjustable, fully height adjustable, and fully spring adjustable coilover. You want something with as much adjustment as you can get, but these over your 30-year-old janked out Miata suspension is really gonna help. It's really gonna help with the feel of the car and how the car reacts when you're in a corner and transitioning. So a good set of coilovers is definitely a must. So to start off the tally, these coilovers cost me $1,300 and they're worth every cent. The second thing on the list to make your Miata as drift ready and as nice steering as possible is you wanna invest in some good tires. Now, rear tires don't matter. Get the cheapest, worst Chinese tires you can find. But front tires on these cars makes a massive difference. So what I run are Advan 8008Rs, okay? They look like this, right? Don't underestimate the power of some good tires paired with a nice, good lightweight wheel. Which brings us to our third point, is a set of nice alloys. We all know that Miatas don't weigh much. They weigh sub 1 ton. Really saving weight anywhere you can is great for these cars. The difference in how this car drives and steers when you have, say, a passenger opposed to not having a passenger is nuts. So save as much weight as you can, get a set of nice, genuine alloys. These are NK RPF 1s. The spec I run on this car is a 15x8 plus 28 with 205/50 15 tires. Never underestimate a good tire up the front. It'll give you that nice amount of grip and be able to really steer the car where you want it to go. So tires, wheels. The NKs I picked up for $1,500 and these two front tires, I think they're about 150 each. So tires and wheels. The fourth thing on the list, something that people might argue is not really necessary, I would argue is necessary. I learnt this car with fully stock control arms and lock, and let me tell you, the difference between having a well set up wheel alignment with some good control arms is night and day. Seriously, what I've found is stock lock on these cars and the way you can get the stock wheel alignment on these cars, it fights you. It fights you when you're driving. It does not help you at all. Whereas once I had the lock and the arms and the alignment, drifting just became a whole lot easier. So I'd really, really recommend a set of lower control arms, some super knuckles, some drop knuckles. So what this is gonna allow you to do is get a lot more adjustment out of your wheel alignment. It's going to allow you to adjust the caster a lot more than stock and the camber, okay? So right now I'm running the Destroy or Die lower control arms with the poly bushes. I'm running the drop knuckles that they sell as well. which as you can see, gets me an insane amount of lock. Crazy. But yeah, I would personally say that for an MX-5, this is very essential. Yes, you can drift without it, but you're gonna have a bad time. Like it's not a good time. Compared to having this, it's not a good time. Price-wise for the lock kit, so I got the control arms, the super knuckles, and the extended brake lines that you need to run them. I think landed to Australia, that was about $1,500–1,600. So again, so worth it. So worth it. All right, now we move on to the interior of the car. So there's not much in here that I would deem essential to start drifting, but there are some safety things that I definitely would recommend in a car this small that is a convertible, especially if you don't have a hard top, okay? So that number one thing on the interior would be a roll cage. So right now I have a 6-point roll cage. Personally, I wouldn't feel too safe drifting one of these without a cage, because if you roll, there's nothing stopping you from just getting. The other thing is once you start advancing through how you can drift and once you start tandeming, door bars, if someone hits your door, the Miata doors crumple. So door bars, really important. Get a good roll cage, save your life, honestly. So I think I picked up this roll cage. This was something like $1,200–1,300 bucks. They're not that expensive, and they do save lives, 100%. The last thing that I'll leave it on is the diff that is currently sitting in your car. It doesn't matter what ratio it is, just to start drifting, take that bad boy out and weld it. If it's an LSD, don't touch it. But if it's an open diff, weld that sucker up, because you ain't spinning 2 wheels in your dreams without a welded diff. So welded for president, okay? All right, so that concludes the things that you need to essentially start drifting this and drifting it well. You can definitely take things from this video and apply them to your car in a different order or a different way, or you can drift a stock MX-5. I'm not saying you can't, but these are the things that are essentially going to help you be a good driver and be the safest driver, okay? And safety is the number one priority, okay? I have been in a few crashes and safety, okay? And in all honesty, the list could go on to racing gloves and harnesses, bucket seats, fire safety, all that stuff. But I feel like these are the most important things for the Mazda MX-5 Miata chassis to get steering and get steering well. So thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I appreciate it dearly. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.